coming out there. So they're all aimed kind of across the board at different players here. Galio aimed at Hotshot as well. So it's Hotshot and Big Fat who are getting targeted here by Curse, and it's basically the mages kind of spread across. And the insta-lock Shen, of course, we've seen him picked and banned in I think every game so far across both days. Was 15 for 15 in Group A, day 1. And I'm pretty sure it's the same here for
Group
B.
He has 1 loss.
No, he's also actually, I think, 2 or 3 games
2 or 3? Oh,
yeah.
That has to happen towards the end of the day because up until yesterday, Shen was top contested pick and ban and the highest win rate.
Yeah, he was 3-0 in the first day, but I know Solo Mid lost with him and eHome lost with him, and I think there was one other game that Shen managed to lose. But Nijaki coming up with a Morgana, and Morgana's actually been the #1 picked mage this tournament so far. I think she's in 14 of the 30 games. It's counting. It's not even counting the bans. She's been just straight up picked in half these games. Here's Shyvana, who's also tied for top jungler, 10 games she's been played. And of course, Shen, again, picked and banned every time he's been available. So Kerr's really coming out really strong. We might see Mundo getting grabbed up here, although actually with Shen, now Shen can solo top or jungle, but every time almost every time we've seen him picked by the American teams, they've run him as a jungler. Now if Hotshot can run Shen, they can still pick that jungle Mundo, or he might grab Swain or one of his other mages, or he might just take up the Aurelia as we talked about before.
Looks like they are going to go for the Alistar support. Maybe a little bit of roaming there. Oh, Alistar Vayne, very nice. Going for a little bit of CC on that bottom. We'll have to see what they can counter with. And remember, CLG did a fast switch the other day as well, which really caught, I forgot who they were playing off guard. I believe it might have been
They did, I think, like all their games. They probably do it on purpose every single time.
Right. Oh, yeah,
I think they just tried to screw with them.
No, it couldn't have been Dignitas. Different groups. Oh, what?
No, it was the same group. CLG and Dignitas were the same group.
No, you're right. I second guessed it.
No worries. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, it might really be Teemo. They're grabbing Aurelia, which I think is a good choice. Teemo, I mean, could be an AD carry at this point. Once you've got Aurelia locked in there, you know that's a solo top for Sidco. Now I think you're going to be on Morgana, and maybe Teemo's a placeholder. Janna's a good pick there as well. It's a really good support, and I think they're going to pick a very late game carry by this point. Janna is not a kind of champion that's going to bully people away so much. Not with an Alistar there, you're not going to play aggressive, so I think they're going to pick a really farm-heavy, farm-reliant AD carry, and the ones that are like that, I'm thinking potentially Sivir here as a big sort of late game AD carry choice.
And Janna has been one of those first picks as well, kind of given an ambiguous pick out. You don't really know what to counter, and you're going to be the first one to show really what you're going to be using in your lane. So that Janna pick has been all tournament long as well. There's Chaucer. They may be giving that Udyr to Hotshot GG. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work out unless they decide to switch. St. Vicious, also a very aggressive Udyr, loves flash stunning to get those kills down. And Double Lift to make the last pick, which will give Elements the last counter of the game and the last pick before we get this started.
Yeah, so Ari's going to be the grab here as the pick against Morgana. We've actually seen Ari picked a lot, both by Counterlogic Gaming and Team Solo Mid. CLG going 4-1 in their group is pretty good. I think Big Fat LP is 2-0 on Ari so far. And actually, Big Fat LP, for what it's worth, has the highest kill assist to death ratio in the entire tournament. I think he's 18-1. So for every time he dies, he has 18 kills and assists. It's something like 13, 3, and like 42. Like however the math works out, but he's 18-1 as far as the ratio goes. Pretty ridiculous there. The AD carry going to be the last pick here for Curse, unless they run something crazy and maybe they have like Roam Janna plus some other weird stuff going on. But they're gonna have to pick their AD carry. Remember, Kog'Maw's banned out. Vayne's been grabbed. So we're not quite sure what's going to be.
There's definitely, they want to keep distance on this lane. You don't want to have to get close to either bush. You don't want to be close to Alistar. It's also going to be a great jungle presence from CLG as well. So it's going to be a tough bottom lane. No matter what, even for their pick here. And they're going to go for Caitlyn. That's going to give them a nice amount of range to stay out of that danger, and they are going to be playing that bottom lane safe, as well as Janna just throwing down the shield, really put out some big damage as well. Vayne's going to have to get in close for anything to happen.
Yeah, so they're really going to want to bully this lane. You look at this here, and you're like, okay, Double Lift always runs cleanse on Vayne, does not want to get CC'd out in between Caitlyn traps and getting dived on, and apparently we're going to have to see what's up with that. It looks like they want to change up the runes real quick, so CLG going to go rehost this game. But you look at the lineups here, and you look at Janna Kate, and Janna Kate is a lane where they really want to bully out the enemy champions, where Caitlyn has 100 range advantage over Vayne, and Vayne doesn't have really good poke tools. She can really only rely on auto attacks. Doesn't have really easily reached hard CC for herself, and so Vayne is a champion that honestly can get bullied around a little bit.
Yep.
And a champion like Alistar works in 2 different ways, kind of interestingly. So he works really well against really aggressive laners like Corki, Tristana, or Taric, where they really jump at you and go for the kill sort of at your face, and Alistar can push them away.
Right.
In the other case, though, he actually doesn't heal very well. He's got an AoE heal, but it's not nearly as potent as say, Sona or even Taric or Soraka there. So he doesn't sustain Vayne quite as hard as you would see on someone like those earlier champions. And so by going for a very poke-heavy lane with Janna Caitlyn, you can get those attacks in and deal that damage, and Alistar won't heal it back very quickly, and he still can't disengage because you're hitting from 650 range, and that does make a lot of sense here. So, where I was thinking initially, like, yeah, they grabbed Janna, they want that to be sort of a babysit support. No, they're going to go for a very poke-heavy lane, and they're going to try to kill him that way.
Yeah, and that lane is going to be amazing. The thing they can do with Alistar, however, it's going to be a push lane, as you said, but if Alistar comes out and continuously heals the minions, he can almost deny a little bit of CS if he can get those auto attacks correct off of Curse Cop, and he can also help the lane to push a little bit so they can keep themselves off the tower in a position that they want to.
And we'll see how this pans out. You can see that players are locking in their champions for real this time. We'll be getting into this game in the very near future. So what do you think for all these lanes? I do like this poke comp here that Curse is bringing out. Even though they went 2-3 in their groups to CLG's 4-1 in groups, I do think that Curse has a really good chance at this game, this whole best of 3. And honestly, I do like their bottom lane. I feel like they're going to win lane there, but the rest of it I think is open-ended. What do you think about these lanes?
The lanes themselves, actually, I think the lanes are going to go in favor of CLG, but their composition means we need to get in close, and Janna is exactly the perfect at stopping that. She has dispersed the team, her ultimate Monsoon, throws everybody out, gives healing to her team. That's kind of may hurt Nijaki while he's going for ulties, but for Vayne, double lift to get in, for St. Vicious to be able to utilize all of Udyr's utility, his shield, the stun to get in there, the proc on Phoenix to do a little bit of AoE in the fight and continuously damage, hotshot GG to get in with Shen's taunt, and they have actually switched that. They're going to be putting Udyr in the jungle. So it's going to be difficult. I think if CLG can get Elements out of the fight first, they'll be all right. But if Elements is still there, they're going to have a really hard time committing to these fights.
Yeah, one thing to point out is CLG has 3 melee here, and 2 of them are very big fighters. With Shen being a lane Shen, he is going to be a damage threat. Normally your jungler is a little bit less carry status than your solo top, but Shen being that solo top means he will be farming, he will be a big damage dealer, and they do need him to be in these fights. And then Udyr the same way. Udyr just always is a damage guy. He doesn't bring a lot of support like Shen, where he can run in for the dash and just taunt everyone or pop the ult and get that shield. He's going to be a damage threat as just designed for the character, and so CLG needs to get into melee range to do cool things. Alistar, of course, their support the same way is a melee guy that is very important. And Janna is just a good pick against melee champions. Once they finally got into the fight and used their initiations, bear stance, shadow dash, whatever, Janna can push them all back, reset that fight, shield if someone did get focused, and knock them up with her Q. She can keep melee away very often. And it's a little bit scary for CLG to do that. Now, normally they do run a melee solo top on Hotshot, but he still had champions like Swain, Nidalee was banned, but he still knows a lot of these ranged champions that can sort of be maybe a little bit of a better pick against Janna.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can do. Those better picks is definitely going to help, and we'll have to see what they can do in just a few seconds as we are about to jump into the game, and we'll have that for you right after this. So we got some pings already coming out towards the bottom right tri-bush. We are going to have CLG on the blue side, bottom left. Curse is going to be top right purple team. And we're going to have to see what they can do. Looks like Double Lift is going to go bottom. He is going to be guarding the tri-bush. They're going to stop that little cove there for the jungle. He's going to be able to guard those golems. And it looks like all of Curse has sent their team towards the top jungle. They want to guard this red. They do not want to lose it. And CLG has spread themselves out pretty thin across the map. So it looks like they're really just playing defense on this.
Yeah, you can see that Curse really just holding their top jungle. They're fighting against jungle Udyr. Udyr can start blue. He uses mana just fine with those stance swappings, but also can grab an early red buff and use that for a quick gank with bear stance. So you never know quite what he's going to go for there. Kind of scrolling through these teams, you can see their opening skill and item builds here as we go through the rest of this Curse lineup. As we pop up Morgana, going to see if she kind of ran anything special. Does have that standard 9 magic penetration. We're going to run through that CLG lineup here. St. Vicious, you can see he's gone Phoenix Udyr. That's going to be his play style here. We have seen both Tiger and Phoenix Udyr used in this tournament. Double lift, early tumble. You can see no base armor penetration run except for mastery, so just stack in AD there. Big Fat LP is running a couple of actually Magic Pen glyphs there. It's actually pretty common for these mages to run 2 to 3 Magic Pen glyphs. Bring themselves up to 10 flat pen at level 1. See Hotshots Shen, what his build is. Does take some Magic Pen, so he's going to be just all about the damage with those key strikes and with Whirlpool Blade.
Getting Wraiths to red, and it's going to be blue for St. Vicious since he is a blue-dependent jungler. We'll see if Crumbs is going to come out with an early gank on this one. Nijaki looking low on his lane to make sure they're not leaving or anywhere around blue. Looks like they're going to be pretty safe there. A little bit of warding going down quite early towards the bottom side of that river. And we're going to have Big Fat LP is going to be Ari versus Nijaki's Morgana in middle. Hotshot GG contending top against Sidco. And your bottom lane is going to be Curse Cop on Caitlyn, Elements on Janna, and Double Lift on Vayne with Chowster supporting on Alistar. So we're going to have to see, as we said before, this Curse lane should be pushing quite hard. They have a lot of extra range to use, and Janna can do a lot at dispersing any fights if Chowster wants to come in for that headbutt combo. And look at this Saint already moving through the jungle, or our rivers.
Yep, Saint already coming across now. Had gotten his blue already, is level 2. Got to run around behind Big Fat LP. The one thing that CLG did, which was really smart, is they gave Chowster both of the initial golem kills, the double golems. You can see the experience here. Chowster already level 2, double lift, not even halfway up there. And because now Chowster has headbutt pulverize. And they knew this lane was going to be very aggressive. They wanted the headbutt and pulverize available on Alistar right away so that he could push them away. Actually, no, I take that back. Level 2 is Triumphant Roar, so going pulverize and Roar for the heal there, wanting to sustain themselves instead of push them away.
Now, I remember a while back when Elements was playing his Alistar for CLG, the roaming Alistar, they would actually get those golems and he would hide in top bush, and then he would go for the quick level 2 as soon as it came out. Looks like Hotshot actually over leveling on Sidco right now, pushing that lane into the tower. However, Sidco on Aurelia, a very good tower, a minion taker, so she will not have too much trouble there. It looks like we could have Crumbs coming out for a little bit of action down towards mid.
Yep, he's looping around now down towards Ari. Big Fat LP knows to be a little bit afraid here. His lane is pushed pretty high up, and you can see he last hits and then runs down, checks for if Shyvana's going to come up, and then he's like, nope, Shyvana's not there. Back to CS and I go. And that is such a very smart move that Big Fat LP is doing. He's getting the last hit and then checking and then going back up, and that is a phenomenal. But here is actually a jungle invasion. St. Vicious fighting Crumbs, getting him very low. The flash is used. St. Vicious has run away. Now Crumbs is in a little bit of a scary spot. He's going to run away from Big Fat LP, and Alistar's coming by as well. Crumbs needs to be afraid. He turns on Burnout. He might go for an execute. This could be close though, because Big Fat could always flash into range. Crumbs is trying to get away. Big Fat's still closing the gap. He's got boots of speed, and there's the flash used by Crumbs to get out. The burnout is on. He's still running away. Now can they chase him in time? With him to another turret, and that's going to be experience giveaway to St. Vicious. He's level 4, but they've not jungled, and he's not been in mid, so they got like a good level of XP, but they also lost a lot of minion kills. That might have not been the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, both buffs, however, now taken off of Crumbs. He does not have that. He was just about to lose red as he did take that first, but that blue buff is going to help him get around the jungle a little faster. His cooldown on his skills, and he's not going to have that anymore. As you said, St. Vicious picking up the XP, but not the kill on that. And, you know, all in all, that was an amazing play by Crumbs. He did a ton of damage to St. Vicious, so St. knows he cannot go one-to-one with their jungler right now. And to back off on that for Crumbs to know to execute was very well played. Top, a little bit of damage back and forth. Looks like Hotshot is not winning the damage trade, and his Saint's going to help him out here.
Yeah, the lane does push now towards Hotshot's turret, which means here comes St. Vicious up from the back. There could be an easy shadow dash into bear stance. Sidco trying to juke him out. Will Q to a minion to keep running, and he's still actually built this gap right here, but St. Vicious getting in closer, has Lizard buff as well, and of course Saint doesn't have flash anymore because of the earlier push in from Crumbs. Saint can't do anything about it. A wonderful move by Sidco to juke all that around, using that dash offensively at the very end there. That was quite the nice escape. Still has no ward, and indeed will recall to pick one up. If you look at the gold right now, 6.4 to 6.5, Curse winning by 100 gold right now. Again, that one death did give a bit of experience, but overall, Curse doing a good job of holding this early game. Pretty equivalent right now.
Elements doing a very good job there. Great patience on the ward placement. If he placed it earlier, Saint would have known he was there, but he waited for Saint to go around and tuck himself right into Wraiths, so he could not see the placement. Having a little trouble get back to lane, though. And it's going to give Alistar a good amount of XP over Janna. Not that she quite needs it as much. All she really does is disperse the fight this early in the game and shield up on Curse Cop, so not too bad there for her. We do see Crumbs and Sidco kind of hanging out up top, I believe. They may have taken golems together, or no, they're coming around. Let's see if they can get Hotshot GG interested in some damage here. Curse coming out. Can he get the twin bite on? He cannot, and he is forced to back off. Vorpal Blade attack trying to come on as Hotshot just continuously trying to trade the damage back and forth.
And you can see the pushing back and forth between Cop and Doublelift actually not really going in Cop's favor either. 41 minions to 51. Doublelift, despite having what I believe to be kind of a weaker lane, is actually winning in minion kills. So an excellent job by this team to get themselves into some really good favor here. Chasser just chewing up on these Caitlyn traps.
Hotshot, level 6, and he's getting doubled up again. He may still have that flash. No, he just taunts out of that one. Very nice there. They're not going to be able to take him down. Level 6 first 2 level 5s, and he will just continue to play pretty aggressive, even though he's chugging down on those pots.
His bottom lane's gonna all the way push to the turret. You see Nijaki actually jumping in onto Big Fat LP, does get the stun, but a lot of damage, and uh-oh, here comes St. Vicious. The turret shoots him again, actually. Could not juke out of the way. Big Fat LP picking up first blood. Bit of an unfortunate dive there, initiated up by Nijaki, and that is not the place you want to be. He's 0-1 in this game, in this first quarterfinal here at the Intel Extreme Masters.
St. Vicious popping into the jungle, finds Crumbs, and now he definitely is doing more damage than Crumbs was. If Crumbs can land that EQ, it does a very big amount of damage. If Saint has not turned on that turtle, it looks like they're trading a little bit of the Wraith there. Burnout was able to grab one. Saint's moving back in, becoming a very dominant Udyr. That early kill from Crumbs kind of set him behind a little. And you can see St. Vicious a little bit tankier, got that GP10, and Crumbs still trying to finish even that Madrids.
And Hotshot getting pushed around by Sidco, but still surviving this one. You can see 47 minions to 46, so pretty much equivalent here at the top lane, despite those ganks on both sides. Players pretty equal here, 57 on Caitlyn and 60 on Vayne. They've gotten themselves back close together again. Both players have actually gone back to buy once now. Berserker's Greaves, Doran's Blades, and Vampiric Scepters pretty much all around. Look at the mid lane, and aside from the first blood, it's 57 to 50 in minions, so Nijaki doing a pretty good job against Big Fat LP, but the one unfortunate dive did set them behind. You can see now that Curse are down 500 gold, which is pretty much the entirety of what you're going to get from a first blood there.
Blue has just been given to Big Fat LP, who has a little bit of an upper hand in gold in mid. That blue for CLG is going to spawn about 1310. As it comes back, and it looks like Crumbs is going to be forced to run over here and give Nijaki blue as well, so he can get back into this and not falter at all anymore in lane. Going to get the last hit on this minion. No, the turret taking it out full. He's going to back off to get his blue. Maybe they know that this is happening. Ari is not going to make a move, and it looks like Big Fat's just going to stay mid lane, and he's not going to let that wave push. He's going to do as much damage as he can and try to get all that experience into the tower. Hotshot GG push back to his tower as well, trying to get those last hits on. Very nice mechanics with the Vorpal Blade to keep his CS up. That lane right now is 50 to Aurelia's 58, so Hotshot GG keeping it quite close.
Yep, it's definitely pretty close there in the minions. The bot lane still jockeying back and forth for position. The first to level 6 here, Doublelift and Cop, which means they could actually kind of jump aggressively a little bit more as this game goes on. You have the potential to get that snipe out from Caitlyn, or the final hour, the ultimate turned on for Doublelift, and that's going to be all kinds of interesting as well. You can kind of chase in there, get a lot of damage output.
And you can see there really hasn't been any global gold yet, but there are GP5s around the map. St. Vicious and Hotshot both have it, and they have 600 gold difference already in their favor. Hotshot taunting out the bear form still to hit on Sidco. The ignite is on, and his health is just deteriorating, but he flashes out, and it looks like he may live again, turning on his ultimate to get some of that HP back. Another taunt, and it looks like Sidco, valiantly trying to get away, will go down to St. Vicious, and Hotshot GG up top, 2-0 now, 10 minutes hitting that mark in the game. CLG with a bit of a lead.
Yep, they're doing a great job there, and that was the flash finally being up for Udyr there, and that was kind of all they needed to make that one happen. Good job of Hotshot chasing down, and now actually Curse pressuring for Dragon, but oh no, the green ward from across the wall. Good spidey sense there from Chowster. Says, hey, maybe they're trying to do some tricky stuff. They stopped it. But now CLG needs to keep their positioning here, and Hotshot, of course, past level 6, has his ultimate, so he can push this turret all day and just ult into a team fight. And CLG's gonna be able to prevent any kind of aggression there. Nice job by them.
Looks like we got another ping on Dragon. They know they've done a little bit of damage. Curse Cop throwing out a Q, trying to get his lane pushed. Shen up top. Hotshot GG not really trying to do too much damage to the tower, letting the minions do that. We've seen a lot of that this tournament. The waves have been completely pushed to the turret, and the lane will back off so they can keep that perfect lane. They're enjoying the CS. They want to take that CS about 18 to 20 minutes and then possibly take the turret. But a lot of these lanes, especially the AD carries, will back off when that full minion wave is hitting the turret. Looks like a very early Oracle's near. Not so early, but St. Vicious grabbing that by 11 minutes. Curse is moving down with all 5 here. They have brought Sidco from top, as he did just go down, and before returning there, he will help to get this. And it looks like Saint will actually go for the turret to try to negate the gold here. 190 global gold for Dragon. Saint trying to pick up 150 for his team. Not even contested by CLG there, and Saint won't be able to get it just yet, but it looks like he'll be able to get it before Sidco returns top.
17:25 going to be the Dragon respawn there, so when you see the clocks turn 17 minutes, the team's going to regroup for those buffs. And the thing is, that's going to be pretty close to the blue timer for CLG. The next blue after the next one, basically. It's going to be in a little while, of course, but it's going to be kind of an interesting situation. Hotshot chain pushing top will get this turret. Looks like he's going to wait back and forth. Chooses to just wait for that turret to fall down. There is Sidco, and yeah, he's lost his turret for that. Ultimately, it's not the worst thing in the world for Curse to lose their turret there. They got the Dragon instead, and that's pretty much equal gold, so it's not too bad. But CLG just continue to push up through. For those who are just joining us in the crowd, this is the first quarterfinal match between Curse and Counterlogic Gaming, and this was the second place team from Group A, CLG, the third place from Group B, Curse. Right now you can see CLG 2-0 in the game so far. They've killed a turret as well. Curse have just picked up a Dragon for themselves. And so far CLG slightly in the driver's seat, but not enough to definitely determine who's winning just yet.
Big Fat LP against Nijaki middle. It's 97 to 109. Nijaki falling earlier, but still able to get his CS up. Morgana throwing that Tormented Soil on the caster minions and then cleaning up the melees. A very nice farm ability by her against Ari's Q. Ari has a lot of push to her lane as she farms. And it looks like Sidco throwing on the ultimate on Hotshot, trying to give him a little bit of harass. Hotshot's perfectly fine with taking that. He's going to throw out some Vorpal Blades, sustain himself back. No, he's actually going to back here. Maybe another GP. Looks like he's going to wriggle himself up.
You're going to see what's going to happen here. Nijaki
Saint.
Yeah, Nijaki getting pushed around quite a lot, actually. He's kind of back to his turret. Sidco's sitting there in the mini wave farming. And here, Shen's still waiting in the wings, actually. Hotshot trying to bait something. I'm not quite sure what his plan was there in the brush, because Saint wasn't anywhere near him. It wasn't like he was going to get ganked anytime soon. Right. Looks like he will actually back off and recall now in the brush. Going to pick up some new items for himself. Already has the 1 gold per 10. I don't think he'll go for more. We'll see what his first builds end up being.
Very passive play from this bottom lane so far. They have not done much. And really, oh, there it is. Headbutt combo coming in. Curse Cop, shield on him, and it looks like they will get that third bolt on. The ultimate from Double Lift. Tons of damage coming out there. He dodges a very nice Monsoon, puts Double Lift against the wall, and he's going to try to take a little bit of damage off of Elements. A great job there. Very nice traps by Curse Cop. That extra little distance saved his life, and he was definitely going to get dove under the turret by Double Lift there with the ultimate on, tumble out of that situation, and a great Monsoon by Elements saved that day. Yeah, we'll see Hotshot coming back up top, maybe to harass a little bit, and looks like he's going to invade.
I think he's going to ward up the jungle a little bit. Now that he's killed that first turret, he needs to ward. There's the ward at the red buff. He needs to make sure he's not going to get ganked here by Shyvana. Now, Shyvana, Aurelia, not the best team to chase someone down, but actually, ooh, some bait at the turret here. Crumb's coming in to push away Double Lift. Shouster putting out some good damage with the stuns as well. They're going to keep pushing down. Actually, that's a flash out there from Alistair. Was very afraid of the damage output here. So good move over there from Crumbs to keep the turret alive and to burn the Alistair flash. And Alistair probably the one champion who wants flash the most on this team to get that better positioning for his headbutts and pulverizes.
Again, Big Fat LP returning to lane. Actually, both mid lane now have blues, so they're going to be spamming those spells off. And I believe they're going top. It looks like they're going to go and ward here. No, maybe not. They saw Morgana go top. They wanted to make sure that there wasn't going to be any wards down. Big Fat and Nijaki returning to mid. Aurelia farming up top as Hotshot has not pushed the lane yet. He's playing that lane very carefully here, not just throwing out damage to every minion he can. And that's causing Sidco to have to stay in the jungle, come back up, and get into position for this right here. St. Vicious to come up behind him. And he is going to see. They're going to be able to pinch him on this one. Possibly enough damage coming out. A stun from both of them. Bear form not reaching Sidco, using the mechanics to get away as he has before. And he's going to turn back into this one and dash back through. Very nice job. I do not believe they're going to be able to catch him on this
Hotshot.
one. No. Yeah, ghosting from Hotshot. That taunt could come in. A little bit extra damage. Udyr does have flash, so Saint known for using that to continue and complete the ganks. They are not going to need it, and the last Phoenix stance hit will equal the kill. Sidco falls again, and that is going to be more assists and kills for top lane as they now focus towards Nijaki. Black Shield saving him from a little bit of that damage, and he's forced to back off. A lot of roaming going on from CLG that Curse needs to stop soon.
And the bottom lane actually, Double pushing in onto Elements and Cop right now. Double doing a lot of damage. Element's still alive. He's going to flash away from Alistair. He's actually alive still. Cop picks up the kill on Double. Now Chowster not in a good place. The Q goes out, but Cop picks up a double kill against Counter Logic Gaming. And that was the comeback that Curse needed right now. Only 1,800 gold the difference now. And beautiful play. Elements down to like 12 health. Dodging those punches, but oh my gosh, more fighting. Crumbs getting 1v3'd in the jungle. Cop's going to come by maybe to help. They do know where these guys are. Net comes out, will not slow. And they're going to jump away from Crumbs, though the Oracles for St. Vicious still going to clear these wards out. And that was all kinds of scary.
Now, I gotta say, what a great Zephyr by Elements on bottom to just totally thwart that entire tower dive. It's not something you're expecting, and then Janna hits you with Zephyr, and you're not going anywhere. He took so much turret damage. Curse Cop able to come up with 2 on that and doing what he's been doing all tournament, staying on top as the AD carry for the game. We'll have to see what Big Fat LP almost getting the charm on Nijaki right under the turret. That would have been straight turret shots that Nijaki would have been tanking, so almost played out there. Very scary play come from these guys. They're chancing a lot, actually. And it looks like Hotshot down bottom now, leaving that top lane open. As well as Sidco probably going to head bottom too. At this point, he is very strong. You're going to have to follow Hotshot where he goes from his lane, and that kind of hurts Sidco. He hasn't been able to farm as much. He is 97 to Hotshot's 126 right now.
It's a really good advantage. 30 minions is a big deal. Additionally, he has that 1 kill and assist from the 2 successful ganks so far from St. Vicious. And I gotta say, the Udyr pick is a lot better than the Shyvana pick has been so far. You look at this, and I mean, the Udyr is 1-0-1, 104 minions to Shyvana's 97. He's even built up a gold pretend for himself, but there is Curse at the 17.5 minute mark, going again for a dragon, and CLG is just not ready for that. That's warded, and it doesn't matter. 23-50 to the respawn. Now, one thing to point out, though, is CLG actually doesn't value dragon that much. They've said this a number of times that, you know, yeah, dragon's 1,000 gold, but it's not worth losing a team fight over it, because that can snowball a game way more than just 1,000 gold can. However, the local experience from the dragon as well does help these guys, and you can see that despite having a kill up, they're only, you know, 1,000 gold to the lead. Sorry, it's a kill and a turret, but you know, the dragons kind of equalized that and brought that one pretty close by.
Elements yelling at St. Vicious for clearing an instant put down on a Baron ward. St. Vicious walking around. Very nice job. And then the CLG right there pretty much getting the gold back from the dragon. They just did not contest, so not too big there. But as I said before, Curse definitely has a great late game, and this late game team is going to be quite strong. However, Vayne gets quite hyper carry late. If they can continue to feed Curse Cop like this, and he can continue to play the mechanics he has all weekend, keep that top CS of the tournament and be that MVP for his team, then they can really come out big on this one. And we'll have to see if they continue to get dragons like that. That's gold that they should not be getting globally.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of the case where Caitlyn can out late game Ahri out late game Vayne if he has way more gold than her. But right now Vayne has her Bloodthirster. No bonus attack speed aside from Berserker's Greaves yet. So while a double lift is scary, he's still not going to completely control a fight for himself. But Curse, you know, they've gotten 2 kills on Cop so far. He's kind of the focus of their gold income. He's at 6,000 right now. He is actually ahead of double lift by 300 gold. That's still enough for Vayne to be probably a little bit scarier. But as soon as Infinity Edge is done, Cop's going to be a pretty scary dude. And you look at this build for Udyr, and he's only got, you know, cloth armor. He's going for a Wit's End. He's got Mercury Treads. He's not going to be able to tank that for all that long. And similarly with Hotshot, Hotshot's getting bonus health, but not a lot of armor. He also had Mercury Treads, and so you might see Cop doing some pretty good damage throughout this game.
Looks like we have a little bit of assistance coming in towards mid. Crumbs did not go around the outside. They are going to focus 4 on their blue so they can get it to Nijaki. He is completely on mana. Looks like that's going to help him out quite nicely. Ahri stays in mid, been getting blue all game. Pretty much you look at Big Fat LP and he's had like a constant blue, perma blue, if you will. They are taking it out. Torment Soil going to take down. That is nice for Nijaki. Top lane is kind of returned here, but Sidco is just forced to pretty much expend his mana to get farm off against Hotshot. And against an energy champion, you're not going to be able to trade the amount of damage you want, since he can continuously just throw out those skills, taunt you, and stop you from really using them. And once he knows your cooldowns are up, he'll taunt and just walk away.
Yeah, but Hotshot actually getting that Sunfire Cape now is going to be just continually very, very scary throughout these fights. You can see him burning down these minions with that Sunfire Cape, and it's going to be very, very easy for him to be very tanky and to be a very good damage threat as well. You see Crumbs making his way over towards the top lane to maybe soak up that farm, but St. Vicious nearby as well, and both of them have oracles, so pretty much everyone knows that everyone is blind at that top lane, and that could become scary as well.
No way. They are going for Baron right now. They're going to contest this a little bit. Crumbs does see a ward right there, and they see him on that ward. Will they go for the flash attack? They do not, but I don't believe they knew they were doing Baron. You kind of just saw him come around the corner after that ward was taken out, and they're still going to go for it. Crumbs, I don't believe his Wriggles should be up for a ward plant, but he's going to go ahead and not plant that. They do have it down to about 75% health right now. St. Vicious continuously going into turtle form. The more he changes stance, the quicker he can do it, and hopefully get this taken down. The Wriggles proc is really helping them out. Shen does not have one himself, but they do have the Sunfire Cape, so that's going to continuously burn on Baron, and they actually have some pretty good damage here. They have traded more than half health of Baron for Saint's health, so they should be able to take this if they can continuously do damage. And this is going to be very big because it's just going to pop up on Double Lift and Chouster bottom lane. They could choose to go aggressive right off the bat, or they can just choose to grab Sidco top.
And there it is, 28-45 in. CLG successfully sneaks out Baron, and you know this is something that they practice. Say, hey man, when I get Sunfire and you get Wit's End, we can totally do this.
That's a good amount of constant
not
damage.
In a good place at this point. He's like, oh my gosh, these are some scary people coming over towards me. Does flash the wall, but so will St. Vicious. This is going to get scary real fast. Bear Stance coming on down, and he's only going to run into Ari if he does run. There is a kill picked up by St. Vicious. Shen still with the assist. CLG up 4-2 and a Baron now. And that's going to be really, really nice for them. And ult comes out from Nijak. He wants to get this kill on Big Fat. The problem is St. Vicious is right there. Nijak, he's got to be afraid. Lands a nice Dark Binding. He's actually just getting tower doped by St. Vicious right now. And, I mean, he could do some good damage here.
If he had a minion wave there to hide behind on that Dark Binding, he could have done some big damage. And actually, to point something out, CLG has not contested 2 dragons, where they pretty much made that gold up right there.
Yeah, pretty much everything back from the 2 turret kills and now this Baron. CLG is in a really good place. And now Big Fat actually diving up on a Nijak. He's going to have to flash away from St. Vicious. St. Vicious will tank this turret, does not care too much. Wow, CLG is starting to just really kind of rampage over this game. We saw that with Hotshot's Udyr against All Authority, and now we're just seeing with St. Vicious use it versus Curse.
Indeed. Kurzkopf doing what he can to win his lane, but CLG doing a great job at pushing that in. Vayne's 214 to Kurzkopf's 195, so that Chouster in the bush has definitely caused them some problems. Looks like top. Hotshot GG gets Zephyred, but they are not going to continue to go on to that fight. Crumbs is quite low and really does not want to risk losing that Oracle, especially at this point in the game. They're starting to shift into that late game phase. There's going to be a lot of wards on the map, and you need to keep your vision up.
And it looks like they're just going to still go for the farm fest at bottom lane. Cop 2-0 and Double Lift 0-1, but otherwise they're just farming back and forth. 202 minions on Cop, 221 on Double Lift. So again, you know, the Baron gold actually puts that pretty much back to equal, but those 2 kills very relevant as well. You're going to see looks like 7,700 versus 7,400. So yeah, gold advantage actually back up for Double Lift. So he's just scarier than this Caitlyn, just straight up. Big Fat now with his Ryleys as well. Looks like he's going to be going for Spell Vamp next. I mean, already has the Revolver, but going for probably the Will of the Ancients as the next pickup here. Another blue buff comes up. St. Vicious is going to be starting that one. He's very, very tanky now, too. He's got the Randwoods Omen plus that Wit's End. And he's just all kinds of good.
Just got Phage finished down onto Shyvana, so that's going to help out Crumbs a little bit. He will be able to slow with his attacks, allowing Burnout to synergize with that and get a little bit more damage down. We'll have to see Nijaki just clearing waves as Morgana does with that Tormented Soil, trying to keep them off the turret, but they have a 3-strong push in mid. Power and numbers here for CLG as they choose to go either way. They can dip into the jungle, or they can choose to stay and do damage to the turret. It looks like they'll do just that. St. Vicious going to put some big damage on this one. Shyvana coming around to pinch on this, but that will mean the fight is spread, and CLG wants to go that way to exit this fight. This could be bad for them, but it looks like St. Vicious all by himself. Crumbs and Sidco do not feel confident in that fight, and they are going to let St. Vicious clear some wards there. They do take the turret, and Kerr is playing very cautious right now. CLG does have that Baron buff, so they're kind of just running amok right now in lane.
Yeah, they're afraid of the Baron buff. It's only got 30 seconds left on it. Hotshot got a free turret while they were pushing mid as well, so you can see the turret score 5-0 so far. Dragon is back up. They could take it for free, but they're saying, hey, wait, blue buff, let's take that one first. Deny that from Morgana, from Nijaki, and then, you know, move on from here. Crumbs is doing some ward sweeping real quick, does have Burnout up if he needs it, but so far they're just like, oh, cool. And now the Dragon is up, and CLG will take their first Dragon of the game. First time they've even really tried to go for it at all. And, you know, they said Dragon's overrated, and honestly, by going 0-2 in the first 2 Dragons and still winning, maybe they're right.
Yeah, early that game, the fight focus maybe isn't worth it, because if you do lose that fight, you're all going to be out of your lane. The real big objective in the early game is to stay in your lane, soak up as much XP as possible, keep that sustain, and go back and buy when you're really going to have that upper hand in damage trade, and continue to keep the mechanics of your lane in your favor. St. Vicious heading into the jungle here on bottom side blue. Going to go ahead and clear some wards. He's not really worried about too much. He does see Curse Cop, though. That Infinity Edge is quite scary, even for New Deer, and he doesn't really want to mess with that too much. If she can get those procs off, St. Vicious taking quite a bit of damage. Every headshot's going to proc even more. Kaylin can do some dangerous procs and crits of 1,600 damage, so I don't think St. Vicious wants to deal with that too much, as he is now down below 50% health. That Oracle's probably has enough to buy another one, but it's always nice to keep the current as well as your blue buff. So they're going to have to be very cautious. If power and numbers from Curse into this next fight, they could be able to win it.
Yep, with an 8,000 gold lead right now, CLG definitely looking that they might want to try to win this game pretty soon. And I just kind of keep thinking back to the champion select and how that was going, and the initial ban on Kog'Maw. I think CLG's strategy this whole time. Oh, actually, here comes Doublelift pushing in onto Cop. Pretty much in a 1v3, now getting pushed away. Elements with great Doublelift not in a good place. There's Shyvana as well. He's going to cleanse out, will chop down. Now St. Vicious might get chased. The red buff is there, but there are more members of CLG chasing up from the left-hand side. You can see Chowster been revealed by a Caitlyn trap, and Udyr actually still trying to run away from Shyvana, turning back around. They've now found Chowster to the left-hand side, but nope, they're just going to take the kill and be safe. Now Sidco fighting up against Hotshot, and I don't know if this duel is going to go very well. But
just in that blue bush, there's a ward there, and Doublelift still decided to flash in the ward's presence over the wall to go for that kill. Very dangerous play there by Doublelift. He's lost all the stacks on his Bloodthirster, and that's really going to give a huge advantage to Curse Cop in these fights.
That's true. It's going to be a pretty big deal. Losing 40 AD is a pretty big deal. It's one of the big things about Bloodthirster is you can kind of reverse snowball the game if you get that kill in the AD carry and then do something with it right away. Now, the Baron's going to be up in the... Oh my gosh, Curse Cop just got found by St. Vicious. This is going to be bad. Elements is still there. It looks like he's going to make it out thanks to the shield. And then Elements saying, hey buddy, I got CC. You really don't want to go for this one.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting move. I think Saint knew that they were recalling and kind of, I think he timed the recalls. He was like, hey, one's gone, and go. And picked up Cop. And that was quite the clever move there.
Looks like Big Fat LP forced to dash off one of his ultis in middle, and there it is going down on the cooldown for Big Fat. He was almost caught by Aurelia there. Sidco got an attack on him. And Nijak, he almost hit a nice dark binding, but he decided not to throw it out, especially with Alistar there. They kind of just would have broke up the fight. Cooldowns on waste. We do see Curse now coming out of their base. We're going to see where their money where the money is really going here. Curse Cop almost at 9,000 gold all to himself. But here we are. We have Hotshot GG, almost 10,000 gold all to himself. Just continuously farming his lane. Him and St. Vicious doing great jobs of controlling and dominating top lane against Sidco. Just really not giving him a chance to farm and keeping him back as he goes to do that right now. And we can see Curse just picking up all the resources of their jungle, making sure the buffs are down and preparing for that next fight. Baron now up again.
Yeah, so Baron's up 28.5 minutes, or actually, well, 29 minutes at this point. The Oracles with St. Vicious gets rid of that ward immediately. Kind of expect Elements to say meanie again.
Yeah.
But Crumbs, yeah, will run over and will clear the ward for himself. Spots that. There's the attacks. Another turret goes down. Hotshot just chain pushing the side lanes, and he does that every time his team wants to push for Baron because they force that 4v4, and then he can always just ult back in. So this is going to look really, really good for CLG right now. The blue buff getting picked up again for Big Fat LP.
Now, they got to be cautious here. They do see Shen bottom, but that's Shen's deal. He is going to ult into his team, and they're going to have a 5-on-5 in just a few seconds. They are both going for Baron here at the 30-minute mark. This is the first contest on Baron. CLG able to grab the first one with Hotshot and just St. Vicious. It looks like they do get Doublelift pressed out of the fight. He will not be able to get the damage down. Curse Cop still alive, throwing down damage from that Bloodthirster. Great job by Big Fat LP to pick up 2 kills on Ahri there. They're now focusing Crumbs on Shyvana as Elements doing what he can to break the fight here. The charm coming from Big Fat LP. St. Vicious to pick up another. And Curse Cop, beautiful job by Hotshot to push him out of the fight after they got Doublelift out. Beautiful job there. Curse Cop was really the only one to be able to do the damage. They pick up that kill finally onto Crumbs, and looks like Curse able to make it out alive. However, could have stayed in. There's really no risk for him dying, especially with the Infinity Edge, but he just got separated the wrong way, and for them to go for that Baron just because Hotshot was bottom was very dangerous.
Yeah, they wanted to force the fight and say, we can rely on Morgana ultimate, we can rely on your positioning being bad, and they got the kill onto Vayne, onto Double Lift right away. The problem was Big Fat LP started cleaning up. Aurelia got dropped down, and actually what was really cool is as Ari, Big Fat actually flashed over a dark binding from Morgana. I don't know if he intended for that to happen or if it was pure luck, but that would have been a pretty big deal in trying to pick up that kill. If he landed the dark binding, they could have added some more damage output there. Aurelia could have landed some basic attacks, but at that point, Big Fat LP pretty much just got a lot of kills for himself and kind of carried the rest of that team fight there because he was the only, super hyper carry that was left on that lineup after Vayne dropped.
Yep. It looks like they're going to go ahead, and I believe they just denied that blue. They went ahead and stole that. Big Fat LP is going to take it.
Yeah, Double Lift actually leaving his red up. Actually wanted to keep that one a little bit. Said, hey, we're gonna go all recall as a team. I'll pick up this red in a second, but I want to keep as much time as possible, or I'm gonna leave it for Saint Vicious or Hotshot. And actually looks like that no, Hotshot's gonna go towards bottom, so I'm not quite sure what their plan is with their own Lizard, but it's been up for a while, and Double Lift specifically left it open.
Yeah, Hotshot's actually just going for that bottom lane. He's just going to continuously farm it. He does this a lot with Cho'Gath as well, and he'll actually, and you may see this, get like 4 or 5 people to continuously chase him down the lane. That is something that Hotshot is known for. He's like, yeah, chase me, let's do this. And here we go. We got Shyvana, Caitlyn, and Janna coming bottom here just for Hotshot, while the rest of CLG is middle. We'll see how they deal with this.
Yeah, but you're going to see actually there's a cute move there. Vayne actually leaving the Lizard buff up as long as possible until they said, okay, we're actually going to go push, grab Lizard and go. They knew their side of the map was safe. They knew they could wait around a little bit and then grab it and then run towards the top lane immediately after that grab. You see the standard basically playbook for CLG. Send Hotshot bottom, everyone else go top.
Yep.
Doesn't even matter if he's Shen or not. They just do it anyway.
There we go. You can see how much damage Saint can actually just take here. He only got down to about 80% health there from 5 or 6 shots, which is very nice for them. They feel tanky and confident in the fight. If you second guess yourself in a fight, one wrong click, and you may be out of that one. League of Legends is a game of seconds, especially when you are in that tough fight. And here we are pushing down on this turret. Going to quickly check and see how far that Bloodthirster is back up. He's got about 20 stacks on it right now, so it's not really doing its full potential and keeping himself sustained in the fight. They have a really good turtle team here, though. They are going to be able to clear these minions as soon as they come in. So Curse can definitely bring this into late game, and that's where CLG has to be careful. They are getting the Barons, and they are contesting the Dragons as well, but if they continuously feed these guys CS, they're going to become a very strong team. Morgana, Aurelia, and Caitlyn late game are very scary.
Yeah, and they're really kind of relying on this late game strategy. You can see that Chastor actually picked up a Zeke's Herald, giving his team this Udyr the Shen when he actually team fights, and the Vayne especially some bonus attack speed and lifesteal to get them into this really strong late game auto attack scenario. Saint just chugging through these traps, does not care too much. And Hotshot actually already up to the inhibitor now. They've not been able to shut him down.
No, they haven't. And guys, this is a best of 3, so this is maybe one match here, but we're going to have 2 more possibly as well. Curse right now on their heels as CLG playing a very dominant game, getting some early ganks up top on Sidco, has led to what you see here, a very quick Baron by only Saint and Hotshot. As soon as they got the Wriggles down and the Sunfire Cape, gave them an early Baron with only 2, and the second Baron is well contested, but a team fight win has definitely snowballed this into CLG's favor. They're going to go ahead and tank this turret, not even worried about the traps behind them. Not much that Curse can do about this right now, but kind of clear out the minion waves and try and turtle out. Big Fat taking a little bit of damage. Will they decide to go in Morgana with the ulti? Nijaki all by himself though, and it looks like they will be able to take this out, throwing down the Randuin's Omen to slow the auto attack and the speed. They continuously go after this one Freak, but nobody's really taking too much damage.
Yeah, they're pretty much not getting any more kills. They got Double Lift a little bit early on, but he cleansed out, pushed back, and now he's pretty much safe. Hotshot getting a long-range taunt on a Crumbs. There's the Pulverize as well. He is going down. Double Lift with another kill picked up there. And CLG now going for the second inhibitor kill. Hotshot had already killed the one at bottom. Got his way up towards top, pop his ult to get there as well. And they did not lose anyone in that fight. 10 before the kill score, 8, now 9 turrets going down. And CLG looks like they're really ready to take this one out.
Whoa, wow, great charm onto Curse Cop. He was dealing a good bit of damage there. May have stopped that turret attack, but it looks like they're going to be able to go straight for the Nexus here. Curse almost taking out Saint Vicious there. Great dash in by Hotshot. to thwart that damage, and it is going to be game 1 here, the IEM Championship semis in favor of CLG.
And CLG going 1-0 in this best of 3, showing the good form they had the first day. They only lost 1 game the entire day. That was the Dignitas in a very hard-fought match. Now they're up 1-0 in this quarterfinal, and if they take this next game or the one after it, they're going to be fighting Moscow 5 in semifinal.